Remember that feeling of walking into the book fair, rows of shiny new books, the scent of fresh pages, and the impossible choice of what you were going to buy with your crumpled up dollar bills that were in your pocket? Whether you were a student agonizing over Goosebumps versus an eraser shaped like a taco, or a teacher sneaking in to grab that latest read aloud, the book fair is just pure magic. Today on Teachers on the Loose, we're diving into the excitement, the life lessons, and the unforgettable moments that make the book fair a highlight of the school year. Let's talk books, budgets, and the best memories because, let's be honest, we're all still those kids at heart.
Teachers on the loose.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Teachers on the Loose, the podcast where we turn teacher tales into belly laughs and life lessons. I'm Allison.
I'm Celeste.
I'm Kristen.
And I'm Kelsey.
Today we are talking about all the things about book fairs.
But before we jump into today's episode and share that experience, we wanted to say a huge thank you for listening to last week's episode when Allison had an unexpected substitute teacher show up. That was such a brilliant idea, Alice, and I love how you completely committed to the role and had your students genuinely believing you were a brand new substitute teacher. Yeah. It just goes to show how a little creativity and humor can make a regular school day unforgettable. I have to know something, though. I have a question for you.
Okay.
Did Olga ever come back?
She has not. Oh. She has not come back. But maybe that's something that I need to bring back.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Maybe that's something we need to bring back.
Oh, yeah. So let's talk book fair.
Yeah.
It's such a magical experience for our students and really for teachers, too, right? So what makes it this magical experience?
Well, first of all, I just love the excitement that the book fair is coming. The kids get their catalogs and they just circle, the books that they want and get so excited. And then I also get really excited, I'll admit, when the semi truck rolls in with all the things.
They start unloading all those
and I'm like,
cases of books. So I love how our librarians always set up like the preview the night before, where we would get to go in and look at the books
and have goodies.
Yeah, they would have snacks and they would have music playing.
All about the bribery.
They would have games going on. And there would be, we would have to put our book recommendations in there.
I always like Piggy and Gerald books. Those are my favorite books. I always recommend those books.
So then how did you feel if you went in and somebody had already recommended those books?
Then I would just move their... no, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I would find another book there's so many amazing books out there for kids. So I would just put my name on another one.
Yeah. And then they also had raffles and games. I remember one time there was a snow theme and all of the food was snow. It was snow caps, the candy.
They were all white, right?
Yeah, there was popcorn, there was the white chocolate pretzels and everything. It was just so magical. And it was all decorated with snowflakes.
Yeah, it was a whole snow scene.
Yeah.
We had snowflakes, we had blue paper on the wall with crumpled white paper on the bottom that looked like snow piles, and we had a snowman.
Wasn't there also a game where you had to throw a snowball into a bucket or something to win a prize?
Yeah.
And I remember, I have a lot of fortes, but one of them is not throwing. I am not a very good thrower. I have had shoulder surgery. So for me, I throw really awkwardly. And so I was like, can I just get one more try? And you were like, just get a prize, Allison. Because I kept trying. I couldn't get it. Kelsey was like, just go.
It's dark.
It's fine.
It's late.
It's gonna be okay.
You're like, come on, Allison, just take a prize.
It's 11:48 p.m. Go home. No. And so, but I just remember that excitement of everybody gathering around. It wasn't just, the book fair. It was like an event where we came together and had fun and made memories around the book fair as well. So, that's
good job, Kelsey.
Yeah.
Aw, thanks. It was just fun bringing everybody together, and there's so much excitement with the book fair and with new books for students and for teachers.
I think it started at a young age, didn't it? Did you guys all have book fairs when you were young?
Oh, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, so how does the book fair help build a love for reading with students?
Well, I think the excitement is there, like you all were saying. And then there's nothing like a new book. And so what do you do with a new book? You look at it and you read it. And then it gives students the opportunity to build libraries at their own house. And I know, Kelsey, you have always said that your goal as a librarian is to get students excited about reading. And this is one way that we can get books in their hands and get them to read at home. And I know you always wanted to make sure that every kid was able to get a book. And so you would use profits from the book fair to give books back to kids who maybe couldn't have money at the book fair to buy books. And that was always such a special way to make sure everybody was included.
Yeah. I love that too. Like, I remember like the kiddos that didn't purchase a book and then all of a sudden they would win a raffle and then they would get to have a book.
Yeah.
And the look on their faces and being like, oh my gosh, I won a book. And it was so exciting for them. So it was really, truly the love of reading for everybody. And the other thing that built that love of reading was when the book fair was all done, parents would have gone in and we made these wish lists during the preview.
Yep.
And parents would come in and they would purchase books. And then you come into your classroom and there's this pile of books that they purchased at the book fair. And so then you had brand new books in your classroom library and the kids were excited to read those. And they were always excited the next day for Read to Self because they wanted to be able to read the new books.
And then what I love is there was always a sticker that reminded you who got you that book. And so when you pulled it out the next year, you can be like, oh, little Johnny got me this book. I remember he loved sitting on the couch reading this.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
I remember it helped me complete some collections that I was starting. So like my Piggy and Gerald collection or Pete the Cat books or my Dogman series or any of those series. I would always like put those on my wish list and then parents would get those and it would like help keep my collection going. And so that was really special too.
Well, with that, on the other end, my student teacher who's just starting to build her library, her collection of books, she actually won a shopping spree at our book fair.
Nice.
So she was so excited. She read a few of the books to our class and she was just, so happy to start her classroom library with the books from our book fair.
Spread the joy of reading, right? So, Kelsey, this year I got to see the other side of things and how to prepare for a book fair. And let me just say, bow down moment to you. You always made it look so seamless, but there's so much work that goes into planning a book fair. So talk to me about that.
There really is. I had so much fun with it, but really I was so lucky to have so many amazing volunteers that were able to support us in setting it up because, some years I would go big with our decorations, like our winter theme one. And, we need volunteers to really help pull all that off. And we would make balloon arches and twinkly lights. And I'm not so fond of heights, so I wasn't too excited to get up on a ladder. So thankfully we had some amazing volunteers that would put everything up for us. One year I wanted to make a balloon arch and we didn't have a balloon pump, and these amazing volunteers were like, oh, it's no big deal, we'll just blow up the balloons. And I was like,
They blew them up? Oh my
actually
gosh.
sat there and blew up enough
Wow.
balloons for a balloon arch. I was like, I feel like that's a lot of work, but they did it. They were like so happy to help and it looked amazing and we were so thankful.
So Kels, have you ever had like a problem that you've had to solve, like a crisis that came when you were planning these book fairs?
There's always something, but I remember one year the company that we use for our book fairs, they don't tell you what time they're going to drop off. They just send you a message the morning of like, oh, I'll be there in an hour. Well, one year they sent us that message and it was time that they were going to be there was right during morning drop off.
Oh.
And I was like, oh no, this is not good. And you can't tell them like, nope, this is not a good time. Come back later. So they showed up and it was like 5 to 10 minutes before drop off was going to happen.
Was that when they would pull up where the buses?
Yes.
Or was that parent parking?
No, they would pull in where the bus is because it's a big semi that comes in. And then they have to unload all the cases and everything. So we went out there, the secretary and I think admin too, and we're like, okay, hurry up. Like, just take them off. Don't worry about pushing them in the school, because usually they bring them all the way in the school. They make sure to line them up for you, and they're really nice about it. But we're like, nope.
Oh, that was the year when it was all unorganized in the library. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I'm teasing. No.
So we just had to quickly get everything off, and we just had this like all these cases everywhere outside of the school, and the semi took off, and then kids were like filing in. I'm like, okay, we got a bunch of cases, walk around them, keep going, and the kids were just so excited.
So this year, Kelsey, I know it was a lot different because our library spaces are wide open, and so we had to get creative with where to put the bookcases. So how did it go for you?
It went really well. We have an awesome library team, and we just had to come together and think through like the flow of the book fair is something to think about and prepare for, because you're going to have lines of people and you want to be mindful of where the cases are so everybody can see everything. So we just tried to spread it out and make spots for lines, and you just got to kind of jump in and do it, and then now for next year what you're going to readjust.
For sure. So the book fair is all set up. It's looking good. Teachers have previewed, and now it's time for the students to come. And so I know you all have brought your kids through for that preview moment, and that is always such a chaotic time because they want all the things.
Everything.
I want all the things.
What was there was some kind of pen one year.
There's always some sort of pen. They love all the pens, all the erasers.
Well, and
The
for
posters.
for our listeners who've never been to a book fair, first of all, I just want to say I'm very sorry that you've had that void in your life because you don't even know what you're missing. But book fairs are not just about the books, right? There are so many other things like posters and pens and
Erasers,
and
calculators shaped like chocolate.
and all these
That they
little,
think
like,
is chocolate, but it's not actually chocolate.
How do they know it's not chocolate?
They get home and they're like, Mom, can I have my candy now?
Yes.
Wait a second.
this is an actual
I've
calculator.
I've had kids return it, and they're like, I thought this was chocolate. I'm like,
Aw.
Do you
I'm
take it
so
back?
sorry. Well, yeah.
Do they have bite
Okay.
marks?
No, I think in the actual calculator, isn't there like part of the bottom that like looks
Oh,
like
it's like
they
a
took
chunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who would buy a candy bar with a bite taken out of it?
My son.
Celeste is raising her hand. Your
No,
son?
because we have one at the house.
Was he disappointed?
Well, but he probably thought it was an actual calculator.
knew it was
and
a
the kid was
calculator.
like, yeah, I want a
Yeah.
calculator.
Yeah.
But for the kids that think it's candy, like there's already a bite taken out of it. That should be your first clue that it's just plastic.
True.
But anyway, so there's all the fun things.
Well, what are your top sellers? Are they books or candy? Or, I mean, calculators.
Yeah, good question. I think it depends on what the latest book trend is that's going on. There's always a picture book. The Who Would Win series is
Yes,
so popular.
I do have a bunch of those
Yeah.
at my house.
Yep.
Dogman was super popular this year.
Yes. Yep. I love, my favorite is looking through the picture books.
Yeah.
I love a good picture book. I found one a few years ago. It's called If Things Aren't Going Right, Go Left. And it just has such a sweet message in it. And I've bought a few copies and given them out to my friends' kids for their birthdays. And I've gotten messages from my friends saying, thank you for that book. Like, that really helped us. And it's just a really sweet book. So I
Well,
love the power of stories.
Yeah, I think I had a bunch of students buy those books that have like necklaces or something.
Oh, yeah. Those
They
are
love
really
that.
popular.
The journals
The
and the
journals.
keys.
Yes.
And
And
I
then they
shark-
lose the
The shark
keys.
tooth.
The shark tooth, the
Oh,
book
yeah.
that comes with the actual shark tooth, and then
Yeah.
you get it out, and it's like rubbery, and they're like, "Wait, this isn't a real shark tooth."
Yes, they always ask that. Is this real? I'm like, no.
Do you know what was really popular this year?
What?
The invisible ink pens.
Oh, yeah.
Kids would write like on their forehead and on their arm with a pen, and then their friends would like shine the light and be like, "Look what I wrote."
Oh my
that's
god.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it was also kind of popular. Well, I don't know if it was really popular school wide, but one of my students bought a book about tarantulas.
Oh.
You know what was also part of the book?
Uh-oh.
A fake tarantula.
Oh,
And
They
you know
prank
why
you?
he bought the book?
he wanted to prank you.
Not me. Who did he prank? Oh, she's giving me an evil look. It's
They
Celeste.
prank you,
This 6-year-old spent his hard-earned money
Yep.
to buy a book, not for the book, but for the spider. And then that spider he got with
The
our
assistant principal. Mhm.
Oh
and they snuck into my office
While
and
you were working the book fair.
while I was working said book fair, and they hid this giant tarantula on my chair. What's the one that's as big as a dinner plate?
Like what is
wow.
Rosie? No, wait.
Are all
tarantula?
tarantulas
I think they
the size
are.
of a dinner plate? I
They're-
don't know.
yeah.
I just remember that from a
Rosie
book.
was
Like
the size of my son's hand.
that's a dinner plate.
It's a
It's a appetizer dinner.
Okay, this sucker was huge.
Was it?
How big was it?
It was huge, and it was sitting in my chair.
So
That's
how
amazing.
tell us how that prank, well, first of all, my class and Celeste, they love to prank each other. So this little boy, he came to my classroom in the middle of parent teacher conferences asking me, do you think this will scare her? And I was like, oh yeah. And so he put it in your office, but when did you find it?
So I'm done working the book fair. It's like 8:00 at night because I've been there
Yeah.
so late. We had to clean up, and I go into my office, and lo and behold, there's a giant spider on my chair. And here's what the funny part is. I was like, you know what? I am too tired to deal with you, spider. I am leaving you there, and I'm gonna deal with you tomorrow. And so I go home, and then I come back the next morning, and I knew it was there.
Uh-huh.
I told myself, remember, there's a spider in your chair. So I wasn't scared when I first came in because I was like, yep, he's there. And I go and I'm hanging up my stuff. And then it wasn't until I pulled my chair out to sit down. It was there. And I was like, ah! Ah.
And they were so excited, jumping up and down, that they got to scare you. And well, I mean, the school year's not over, and
Well,
it's going back and forth still now,
I
scaring
just have
one
a question
another.
for you, though.
Yes.
Yeah. What's up?
So, Celeste, did you go to the doctor? Did you
Stop
worry
it.
about getting bit?
So no, I didn't. Two reasons why. One, it never touched me,
Oh, okay.
nor
And
did
this
the
wasn't
bat.
real.
I don't know if her bat
This is
actually
not-
ever touched her.
The bat was real. It was on my leg.
Still didn't touch you.
So one of the most fun things about the book fair for me this year was getting to run the cash register.
Oh.
So much fun
So much
because you get to see all the emotions of kids. They come up so excited and they're like, yes, I'm going to use my own money. I'm going to buy this book and look. And then there's disappointment when they realize, so this book is $24 and you have 5.
Yeah.
So good life lessons can come from making choices
That's
at
true.
the cash register at the book fair.
Lots of life lessons. I think one of my favorite moments is watching the kids enter the library with whatever they're using to carry their money. And they proudly walking in with their wallet or their Ziploc bag filled with coins or their crumpled up bills, and they're just beaming, like ready to make that purchase. And
One of my favorite memories, it's not to interrupt, sorry,
No,
but
you're fine.
one, I didn't want you to get too far because walking in with their Ziploc baggies full of coins reminded me that I came in one time. I have a picture of you somewhere. I've got to find this picture now, but I have a picture somewhere of Kelsey with one of my students very carefully letting my student count out the money to pay for their own book, and they had like pennies and nickels and dimes, and she was like, okay, so now you have 22 cents, we're going to add another nickel, and what's that going to be? And then she would wait so patiently for them to say 27 cents, or whatever it was. And so like you were always so good about making it a learning experience for the kids too, with their math skills and knowing their coins and
yeah.
values of the coins and names of the coins. And so I
It's,
like that.
oh, well, thank you. That's so sweet. It's definitely a good life lesson for kids to learn to count money. We did one year get smart and we bought a coin counting machine
Oh,
because we had kids come in with these bags of coins and they're
Is it their
like,
piggy bank?
yeah, they were like, I'm ready to shop. And we're like,
Aw.
oh, this is amazing. And they'd have however many, like $5 worth of coins, and they picked out a $20 book, and you're like, oh man. So we would put all the coins in the counting machine, and we were like, okay, you have $5, and we'd direct them to where they need to go. But we always did make them count it out to pay for it. When you have a whole line of kids and with all these bags of coins, You gotta speed up the process sometimes.
All right, it's 27. It's 27. Move on.
And then the best part is when there's like free reign and kids are just like pulling books off the shelf, pulling books off the shelf. We had a little girl this year. It was her birthday. And I guess she was spending grandma and grandpa's money because she was shopping like she had unlimited cash flow. And she was carrying this big old pile, and mom looks at her and she's like, oh, no, honey. No. We're going to have to do about half of that. So for the next 30 minutes, they sat on one of the cushions in the library and they went through each one and they sorted them into two piles. Like, is this one you really want to keep, or do we need to put this one back? And watching the little pile dwindle down was
that's
fun.
sweet.
Grandma and grandpa hooked her up though.
I had sisters one year where one sister stole out of her sister's
Oh,
piggy bank.
yes.
And there was a lot of drama around that. And I remember the mom being like, at the end of the day, I'm going to take my other daughter that got the money stole to go buy something. So just be prepared. You might see some behaviors you've never seen out of one of my children before. And I'm like, hey, you know what? You got to do what you got to do. So
Yep.
life lessons are all around the book fair. You know,
Yeah.
you have to learn how to be patient and not steal from your sister and
Learn to count money.
count money. and
We had a kid show up with $100 once, $100 bill.
Hey.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
I was like, okay, is this yours? And okay, let's go shopping, buddy. Let's do this. We had a kid show up with a credit card too once.
Did it have his
Like
name
mom
on
and dad's
it?
credit card?
Okay.
Did
I
they
was
know?
like, I'm gonna call real quick and just make sure
Right?
this is okay.
Without like a sticky note saying limit of or nothing, just a credit card.
just a credit card.
And what happened with that?
Yeah, we called to make sure because I did not want to run that before the parents gave the okay, and they were fine with it. So kid got to go shopping. He was all
Heck
excited.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet day for that kid.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and now they have the e-wallet, right? Like you
Yeah.
can do digitally. It's just such a different era than when we
Yeah.
were kids, right? Like
Yeah.
having to go and mow the lawn in order to go get a book at the book fair is a little
Yeah.
different than, hey kid, I loaded up your e-wallet, go shopping.
So imagine, ready? Grandma and grandpa send you $20. You get to go shopping at the book fair. What are you spending your money on, Kristen?
I'm buying some picture books. I don't need no chocolate calculator. I love pigeon books. I love Mo Willems. So I will get more Piggy and Gerald books, pigeon books, and then of course any of the holiday books. I love them. I don't know.
That's more than $20, Kristen.
Yeah,
You're gonna have
Do you
to
have
make
budget?
I
piles.
didn't budget.
And you have
Shoot.
tax on that. Just
I need to go
FYI.
sit on
Kids
a cushion
never realize
and,
that.
You need
and
to
decide.
make
make two piles.
Yeah. Yeah.
How about
Kelsey, what are you buying?
Maybe one journal and a cute pen, but definitely picture books.
Are you getting the furry journal
No,
with the?
I
oh.
just like a classic.
Okay.
Like I need to write some to-do lists, so I need a journal to write it
and
all
not
down.
an invisible pen.
No, like I need an actual pen.
Oh, I'm getting the invisible pen. And I'm going to write notes to all my friends
on us.
on your arm.
I'm gonna definitely get the highlighter that has 5 different colors on it.
Oh yeah.
And then the poop emoji sticky notes. And then I probably want to get like a poster of like a Ferrari
have
and
those.
another poster of like a kitty saying, I'm so cute with the
Allison
big
is
eyes.
that kid.
Yeah.
That kid where mom and dad are like, here's $20. Go buy some books at the book fair. She comes home with posters and erasers and highlighters, and she's living her best life.
The pen that has a fidget spinner at the end that makes a whistling sound.
You're the cool kid.
you are.
I don't know if I would say that, but
All right, so we've spent our money. The book fair is closing. What advice would you give to students for next year's book fair?
Start
Start
mowing
saving.
those lawns.
start saving your money. Go to the library and read
Yeah.
all of the books and decide what your favorite ones are that you want to reread and reread and reread again, and go buy those. Like those would be your buyers, right? Because I know I have favorite books from my childhood that I want to reread and reread, and I kept those for when I would have kids someday, and so then I was able to pass those on down. But you don't have to buy every single book that you want to read, because we do have a library really close by. But it's also nice to have your favorites on hand that you can just reread whenever you want.
Yeah, I love that. Or find a topic. Find what is the thing that you love to read about. Do you love mysteries or fantasy books? And buy a new book that captures your interest.
Yeah.
And if you buy a book for the spider that's on the book, the fake spider, maybe you should actually read the book all about spiders. You might learn
Hey,
something.
Did he ever get his spider back?
I don't know.
I made sure to return it. I have no idea where it is right now, though.
Well, I think we might want to be careful because we might see it again.
Have you ever had a last minute miracle where a student who couldn't afford a book ended up getting one in some heartwarming way?
Oh, I have the best story for this. So we have a student with special needs who every time she would walk past the book fair rack, she would see Bluey, and it was Bluey, Bluey, Bluey. And trying to get her back on track and get her in line and get her back to class was such a challenge. And this Bluey book was a hardback book, and we knew that they were going to go fast. So we pulled it off the shelf and we hid it. And so then the plan was the next day we were going to gift it to her with the funds from the library. And so I planned with the teacher, and I went and I said, oh my gosh, friend, come with me. Like, you won a coupon and you get to go shop for a book. And we magically put that book back on the shelf, and she saw it. She's like, this is the one I wanted. And then she's hugging the book, and she's just so happy. And it was
That's
such
so
a good
sweet.
moment that because of the funds from Share the Fair and because people generate extra money when they donate, we were able to purchase that book for her, and it made
love
such a
that.
difference.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
What is Share the Fair?
Yeah, Share the Fair is a way for families to donate. So when they make a purchase, we ask them, do you want to round up your purchase to the next dollar amount? And that extra change will go to Share the Fair fund. And then we use that money at the end of the fair to purchase books for students.
Nice.
That's awesome.
All right, listeners, we've had fun reminiscing all about the book fair fun and the magic it brings to our schools by spreading a love for reading. So now it's your turn. We'd love to hear your stories from your book fairs. So tag us on Instagram at Teachers on the Loose or on X at TeachersOTL and send us your story. Who knows, we might just feature you in an upcoming episode.
That's right. Thanks for tuning in. And remember, the book fair is full of life lessons, especially when you have to choose between chocolate calculators or a new book.
And there might even be some prank opportunities with fake bugs or the best with a tarantula.
So join us next week when we talk about how we eased our new principal into our world of pranks.
This is Teachers on the Loose.
Oh my gosh, look at this staff. They are so amazing. But, I mean, who understands those primary teachers anyway?
We like big books and we cannot lie. You other schools can't deny. When we walk in with our itty bitty crew, we'll blow you away with all they do. 'Cause we got books.